Today we will talk about the history of taxes and why humans pay taxes. This story is very old. It starts thousands of years ago. Taxes did not begin with modern governments. Taxes began when people started living together in groups and cities. When people lived alone, they did not need taxes. But when people lived together, they needed rules, leaders, and shared work. Taxes became a way to support the group. Long ago, people were hunters and gatherers. They moved from place to place. They shared food inside the group. If someone hunted an animal, they shared meat with others. This sharing was not called tax, but it was a kind of early tax. People gave part of what they had for the good of the group. This helped everyone survive. Later, humans started farming. They stayed in one place. They grew crops and kept animals. Farming created extra food. This extra food is called surplus. When there was surplus, some people did not need to farm. They could become leaders, soldiers, builders, or priests. These people needed food too. Farmers gave part of their crops to support them. This was one of the first real forms of tax. In ancient villages, leaders protected people from danger. They helped solve problems. In return, people gave them food or goods. Taxes were paid in grain, animals, or work. Money did not exist yet. So taxes were not coins. Taxes were things people produced with their hands. One of the earliest known tax systems was in ancient Mesopotamia. This area is modern-day Iraq. It existed more than 5,000 years ago. The rulers collected grain and animals from farmers. These taxes supported temples and armies. Temples were important places. They stored food and helped people in hard times. Taxes helped keep these systems working. Ancient Egypt also had taxes. The Egyptian government was strong and organized. The ruler, called the pharaoh, was seen as a god. Farmers paid taxes in grain. Officials measured fields and counted harvests. They used written records. Taxes were stored in large buildings. These supplies fed workers who built temples and pyramids. Without taxes, these big projects could not exist. In Egypt, taxes were also paid through labor. People worked for the state for a period of time. They helped build roads, temples, and canals. This kind of tax is called labor tax. People did not always like it, but it helped the country grow and stay strong. In ancient China, taxes were also very important. Chinese rulers collected grain, silk, and labor. Taxes supported armies, roads, and the Great Wall. The government believed taxes kept order in society. If people paid taxes, the state could protect them from enemies and disasters. Ancient India had taxes too. Kings collected part of the harvest from farmers. This tax was often 1/6 of the crop. The money supported the king, the army, and public works. Ancient Indian books talk about fair taxes. They say taxes should not be too heavy. If taxes are too high, people suffer and the kingdom becomes weak. Ancient Greece had a different system. In Athens, most citizens did not pay regular taxes. Instead, rich people paid special taxes. They paid for ships, festivals, and public buildings. This was seen as a duty and an honor. Poor citizens did not pay much tax, but they served in the army or worked for the city. In ancient Rome, taxes became more complex. Rome had a large empire. It needed a lot of money. Romans paid taxes on land, trade, and people. Provinces paid taxes to Rome. Sometimes tax collectors were private people. They often took too much money. This made people angry. Heavy taxes caused rebellions in many areas. The Roman government used taxes to build roads, aqueducts, and public buildings. These projects helped trade and daily life. Even today, some Roman roads still exist. Taxes helped create them. This shows how taxes can leave a long-lasting impact. After the fall of Rome, Europe entered the Middle Ages. During this time, kings were weaker. Local lords had power. People lived under feudal systems. Farmers worked on land owned by lords. They paid taxes in crops, animals, or work. They also paid taxes to the church. This tax was called the tithe. It was usually 1/10 of their produce. In the Middle Ages, money slowly became more common. Taxes started to be paid in coins. Kings needed money for wars. They taxed land, goods, and trade. Taxes were often unfair. Poor people paid more than rich people. This caused anger and revolts. One famous example is the Magna Carta in England in 1215. English nobles forced the king to accept limits on his power. One important issue was taxes. The nobles wanted a say before new taxes were created. This was an early step toward modern tax laws and democracy. As trade grew, cities became richer. Governments needed better tax systems. They taxed markets, goods, and ships. Taxes helped build city walls, roads, and ports. But taxes also caused conflict. People often protested high taxes. They felt taxes were unfair or wasted. In the 1600s and 1700s, many countries changed their tax systems. Governments became stronger and more organized. They used taxes to build armies and run states. At the same time, people began to ask questions. They asked why they should pay taxes. They wanted rights and fairness. One famous tax protest happened in America. British rulers taxed the American colonies. They taxed tea paper and other goods. Colonists said they had no voice in British government. They used the phrase "no taxation without representation." This anger led to the American Revolution. After independence, the United States created its own tax system. In France, high taxes caused great suffering. Poor people paid heavy taxes while nobles paid little. This unfair system helped cause the French Revolution in 1789. After the Revolution, France tried to make taxes more equal. This showed how taxes can change history. During the 1800s, modern tax systems began to form. Governments needed money for schools, roads, and public services. Income tax was introduced in some countries. Income tax means people pay tax based on how much they earn. Rich people pay more, poor people pay less. In Britain, income tax was first used to pay for war. Later, it became permanent. Other countries followed. This system was seen as more fair, but people still disliked paying taxes. No one enjoys losing money. In the 1900s, governments grew larger. They provided more services. They built hospitals, schools, and social programs. Taxes paid for these services. During wars, taxes increased. Governments needed money to fight and rebuild. In many countries, taxes now come from many sources. People pay income tax, sales tax, and property tax. Companies pay business tax. Taxes are collected in money, not goods. Computers and banks help manage taxes. So why do humans pay taxes today? One reason is shared needs. Roads, police, fire services, and schools cost money. Taxes pay for them. Without taxes, these services would not exist or would be very expensive for individuals. Another reason is fairness. Taxes help reduce inequality. In many countries, rich people pay higher taxes. This money helps support poor people. It pays for healthcare, housing, and education. This helps society stay stable. Taxes also help governments plan for the future. They build bridges, protect the environment, and prepare for disasters. Taxes are a way for people to invest in their country. But taxes also cause problems. Some people feel taxes are too high. Others think money is wasted. Corruption is a big issue in some places. When people do not trust the government, they do not like paying taxes. Throughout history, taxes have always caused debate. People ask how much tax is fair. They ask how money should be spent. These questions are still important today. Even though taxes are often disliked, they are part of human society. From ancient farmers to modern workers, people have paid taxes in different forms. Taxes helped build civilizations, cities, and nations. When we look at history, we see that taxes are not just about money. They are about cooperation. They show how people work together to support a larger group. Taxes reflect values, power, and trust. In simple terms, Humans pay taxes because living together has a cost. Roads break, people need help, and safety must be protected. Taxes are the way societies share this cost. The history of taxes is long and complex, but the idea is simple. People give a part of what they have so everyone can live better. This idea started thousands of years ago and continues today. Understanding taxes helps us understand society. It helps us see why rules exist and why governments matter. Taxes are not just numbers. They are a story of human life, cooperation, and change. This story is still being written. Every new law and every protest adds to the history of taxes. As long as humans live together, taxes will exist in some form. So the next time you hear about taxes, remember this long history. Remember farmers giving grain, workers building roads, and people asking for fairness. Taxes are not new. They are as old as human society itself.